Hello everyone. I've changed my mind about Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, to be specific. Lately, I have been playing the game, going through yet another playthrough, and I'm having the time of my life with this game. Now, regular viewers to the channel know this has been my least favorite Owlcat game. I have enumerated the reasons for that in the past, and they basically boil down to me really not liking the companions in this game, and kind of not enjoying the story setup and some of the annoying things that the game does along the way, which kind of is an Owlcat staple. But one of the things I've learned is that, at least in my lifetime, it's definitely okay to change your mind. In fact, I would say we should be encouraged to change our mind when we have new evidence or when we experience something in a different way. And for instance, I've learned that a lot of disappointment in my life with certain things, not just video games, but all kinds of different things. Disappointment has come from expectations being incorrectly calibrated or just having a wrong attitude when I approach something, not being in the right frame of mind for a certain event or a certain experience. And I think that might have been what happened when Wrath of the Righteous first came out. I really like the companions in Kingmaker. But let's be fair, the kingdom management in that game is just awful. The hidden timers, the skill checks that you have to make for all the different kingdom management pieces, it's just atrocious. But the companions and their quirks and how fun they are really kept me in that game. And it was the reason I wanted to put it on the channel and why I did put it on this channel this last spring. Because it's just still a really fun old school Dungeons and Dragons type experience. Even though it has this albatross of a kingdom management system tacked onto it. That kingdom management system kind of soured my taste for Owlcat, and I don't think I realized how much it did. Because when Wrath of the Righteous came out, I did not have the same overwhelmingly positive reaction that a lot of other people had to it. Like, for instance, Morticimal Gaming. He has long said it's like his favorite game of all time. And I just didn't have that reaction. So then Owlcat goes and releases Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. And I approached that also with a bit of skepticism, knowing how Owlcat does things. In fact, I put off playing that game for a year, waiting for patches to make sure that bugs got fixed and things like that. And that ended up being a good decision. I have really enjoyed my time with Rogue Trader, so much so that it became easily my favorite Owlcat game. But I kind of instinctively knew before I even started playing Rogue Trader that I was being tainted by the Kingmaker experience. And that made me reassess how I felt about Wrath of the Righteous. After I got done playing Rogue Trader for like the fourth time, I'm currently still recording episodes for the Let's Play series and I'm getting really close to the end. And I started thinking, I should give Wrath of the Righteous another try. I should go in with a completely different attitude, be really open to it, and just let it come to me. Now, that's easier to do now these days because Owlcat has released a ton of patches over the last couple of years. If you go online and you're looking for a build to figure out how to make a companion useful in your party, you will see one build after another that's based on broken mechanics that aren't supposed to be in the game, that are technically bugs. And that kind of thing really annoys me. It also especially annoys me because most of the build guides that I found on the internet are showing you characters at max level with max buffs, going into the City of Eyes and just mowing stuff down. And they're not really considering that that's the very end game. What does that build play like for like the first 5 levels, for the first 8 levels, before you get to Dresden? What's it like when you're actually trying to conquer Dresden? What's it like in Act 3? That's where the bulk of the game is. So I decided to take a different approach to Wrath of the Righteous. First thing I did was figure out a different class to play. A lot of you know that from experience and watching my videos that I really like the old school fighter mage class from the ancient days of Dungeons and Dragons way back in 2.0 with the original Baldur's Gate games. I really like the fighter mages, as people at that time were calling them Gish characters. I just like that. It's a lot of fun. The idea of being able to wield a couple of swords and defend yourself with magic and make yourself really hard to hit is really fun. But this game in particular, Wrath of the Righteous, really feels like it's set up from a story perspective for you to take the angel mythic path. Now that's one of the cool things about this game is all the different mythic paths, but I had never really played the angel route before. I played the Azada because that was really fun, and I've played the Lich, and I've done the legendary finish as well. All of those let me play a arcane fighter mage type of character, an Eldritch Knight. But this time I decided to play a combination hybrid of a paladin and an oracle. It's mostly an oracle character with a few levels of paladin at the start, because the start of the game is when you really need to be able to hit things, and a paladin does that really well. So I decided to play this character, and what I learned taking this different attitude and this different approach to the game and not worrying about all the different broken overpower builds, especially because so many of those exploits are gone now, and just trying to really slow down and read all the descriptions and really learn this rule set as I'm playing, because the Pathfinder rule set is the deepest rule set I've ever seen for any video game. Like, it makes Rogue Trader look like Tinker Toys by comparison. Rogue Trader, I like the simplicity of it. I like how all the buffs are handled in each combat encounter, and you really only have a couple of buffs and then you're playing, you're making attacks and using strategy. Pathfinder is so different. There's so many buffs and so many spells and so many situational awareness things that you have to do. So I really took my time and sat down and just read everything, and I found out that there are little things in this game that I still didn't know about even after 1,200 hours playing this game. There are little rules and little feats and little abilities that I did not know about that can make the game so much more enjoyable. And I'm going to do a top 5 video real quick. It should come out a few days after this. That's going to be tips and tricks and things like that for new players to the game that I think make it really, really helpful. So going into this with a new attitude and a new class, a new main character, and just playing through the game and taking notes so that I can do a let's play on it. Another let's play. I've already put this on my channel a couple of times, but I was also playing exclusively in turn-based mode. Now, this is something else that was kind of broken in the beginning. Was you could play in turn-based mode and the game would get locked and it would freeze, and you would have to go in there and change it to real time with a pause to get out of the lock state. There was just so many things that were kind of frustrating when the game first came out. And now they're fixed. Alhacat has continued to release updates and fix this game, and it's in a really good state now. So playing it entirely in turn-based mode, which lets you use some of the abilities that you don't see or don't use or won't utilize when you're playing real time with pause, and really stopping to read everything and trying to learn this system as deep as I can. I have had the most fun playing this than I think I've ever had with a party-based RPG. I've had more fun with this than even what I consider the gold standard of all time, which was Baldur's Gate 2 and certainly Baldur's Gate 3. For my money, this game and Baldur's Gate 3 are now on what I consider basically a level playing field. Baldur's Gate 3 still has all the great voice acting and all the great performances, and I love it to death, and it'll probably be number 1 for a long time. This game is now like 1A to me. It's just such a good experience now. So part of that is because Alhacat has updated it and patched it and gotten rid of the exploits. And part of that has been because of a different attitude from me and just taking a different approach with it and trying to spend more time learning instead of just blazing through it. And the end result was I came away from this experience, and I'm not done with this playthrough yet, but I'm getting close. I have had so much more fun than I've ever had playing an Alhacat game, which tells me something about Alhacat too. I think if they had a little more time to polish their games before they got released, that would really help, because their games do have a tendency to release in a buggy state, and we have seen with the Rogue Trader playthrough that when the Lex Imperialis DLC came out and they released a same-day patch to coincide with it, they broke ship combat. So they do things to break their games, but mostly it's just because they're not fully baked when they finally launch them. Wrath of the Righteous is now in a really good state. I'm really enjoying these companions a lot more than I have in the past. I've learned a lot more about how to build them and how I want to build them and how to make them really effective. And I've just had a freaking blast with it. So I have built, as you know me, an Excel spreadsheet. It's actually 3 whole tabs in an Excel spreadsheet full of event logs and just tracing how to go through the game and how to do my character builds and all the special information. And what I really want to do is do a new Let's Play on the channel where I try to get the secret ending. This is kind of Wrath of the Righteous's version of the Kerensky achievement in Battletech. And you all know that I went after that not once, but twice, and got it both times. The last time by the hair of my chinny chin chin, literally on the last day. That was so much fun. And I've had a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff with games. That's what I really like to do on my channel, is take these games that are complex and play them and break down everything that I'm doing so that people who are watching might learn something, and it'll make their own playthrough enjoyable. And I noticed when I posted on the community tab about a week ago that I was playing this game, and I posted a picture of my character, and somebody commented and said, wow, I would watch the Let's Play just so I could figure out how to get my character stats like that, because I could never do it. And I started thinking, I'm not even the best at stat buff stacking, but I have learned some things that have really made playing the game better. And I've been playing it on core difficulty. I don't think I'll ever do hard. I don't think I'll ever do insane. But core is really a challenge. And some of the most difficult encounters in the core difficulty are just, they're insane by themselves. So there are these super challenging encounters in the game, like Playful Darkness, which is really, really cool. And beating it on core is so much fun. So I want to do a Let's Play series with this on core rules in turn-based mode and share everything I've learned and have a really good time with this. And one of the things I think I'm going to do a little differently with that series is how I edit it and how I condense the series. Because if you've ever watched Many a True Nerd, you probably know who he is. Go out on YouTube, find him. He's fantastic. John does fantastic videos. And I think what John does is I think he's always doing his voiceover in post-production. And he really edits everything all together in a very condensed format so he can cut out all the slow bits where his character is just walking around or traveling or talking to characters that are not important. He's doing a Fallout New Vegas playthrough. He's been doing that for months now, and I really like that format. And I think in this particular case, it might be the right thing to do because there is a lot of dialogue in this game, and there's a lot of just loading screens and traveling, especially with the campaign management stuff. So what I want to do is just kind of condense all the unimportant bits. I'll show all the battles, of course, and I'll show all the fights, but I think I want to really condense all of the rest of it and cut out the boring travel bits and all the boring walking and zoning and loading and meaningless conversations that you don't have to have. So that's probably how I'm going to do that series. But I wanted to make this video sort of rambling as a train of thought thing because I think one of the things that makes us uniquely human is our ability to change our minds about things. And I know that's not something that happens a lot anymore these days. People double down on their bad takes even when facts and readily available documentation are presented to counter whatever they're thinking or feeling. We are a species that appears to run almost entirely on emotion and not logic. We are the opposite of Vulcans. But I think that's something that's good, is the ability to analyze a situation and say, wait a minute, is there a different approach? Can I take a different attitude? Can I learn something else? Are there new facts available? Can I change my mind about something? And I have changed my mind about Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. It's gone from being my least favorite, the Owlcat video games, to my most favorite. I still love Rogue Trader. I think it's incredible. I do like most of Kingmaker except for the kingdom management stuff. But this game is now, after 1,200 hours, it's clear that I like this game, but now I love it. And a big part of that is because they have fixed so many things and fixed so many exploits and fixed so many bugs. But a huge part of that is just taking a different approach. So I thought it was worthwhile to make this video and let you all know what my plan for this game is, to get it on the channel and do it in a slightly different format than I've done it before. So look for a top 5 tips video coming out soon, and also look for a build video because there is one character in this game that is a mercenary. There's one character I have in my party who's a mercenary, and I think it might be the most important character you can have in any party. If you're new to the game or if you're struggling with the game, I think this character is going to help you a lot. So those are videos that I'm going to try to put together in the next week or so, and then hopefully I'll be able to get the series started and we'll bang out some Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Folks, you know the drill. Like the video, subscribe, leave questions, comments down below. I'll see you next time. Until then, happy gaming, everyone.